Hello, Professor Jeffers.
Hey. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Hey, I found a note on your door.
Another one?
Yeah.
How does everybody know where I live all of a sudden?
I don't know. But also,
yes,
your birthday. That was
yeah.
recently. Yeah. So
yeah.
I got you a thing again. So here.
It's a rock. That's awesome. Thank you. That's great. So what'd you do for your birthday?
What? Okay. Yeah. Last time I got you a rock, it was kind of.
Well, this is a very pretty rock. Thank you very much. So, note.
No. Yeah.
There was a note on the door?
No, right.
Okay.
Actually, before we get into that, do you remember a while back we did an episode where we talked about Momo and you were asking about them?
We kind of brushed on Momo because...
Yeah. Well, I've been looking into that.
Yeah.
And I was going to tell you a few things. You know what? We should probably just record this.
That's a good idea.
Because this might make
note?
I'll show it to you in a minute. Hang on just a second. Hello, and welcome to Cryptid Remarks. I'm Professor Edward Jeffers.
And I'm Wilma Chronicle.
And I have a thing that I wanted to talk about today. Some of you that have been listening may remember that we talked about Momo, but only briefly a while back. Wilma brought that up, and we were talking about water cryptids at the time.
Indeed.
Yes, so I went ahead and looked into Momo and was trying to find out what I could because Momo is not one of the cryptids that I had met at that point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So turns out Momo is in fact from Missouri.
The Momo is Missouri,
from Missouri Monster, because the postal code for Missouri
Monster.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Well, the postal code for Missouri is
MO.
MO.
Right.
And MO also short for monster. Now, you know I don't like the term monster, but it kind of is what is needed for that nickname to work.
Obviously.
So I went and looked him up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking all around because the information that I found said that he was from Louisiana, Missouri.
Oh, I was thinking more like one of the big lakes in Missouri.
Well, yeah, and Louisiana is not far from the river, but Nessie-style cryptids aren't typically in rivers. They're usually in lakes. And it turns out that Momo is more Sasquatchian than Nessian.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So Momo is about 7-ish feet tall and has a really big head. And in fact, I'd almost say it was pumpkin-like.
A pumpkin-headed Sasquatchian 7-foot-tall creature.
Yes, with
interesting.
With big orange eyes,
orange,
three-fingered claws,
like a sloth.
Yeah, now that you mention it.
Interesting.
Huh. I hadn't even really thought of that.
Huh.
And also didn't quite smell as bad as a skunk ape does, but it did not
Wait.
He did not smell very good.
So you met Momo?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I went to Louisiana to try to find him.
Oh.
I thought it would be kind of fun to do that.
Sure.
So
what's Momo like?
Well, Momo's a little reclusive, and
Obviously.
I think it's partially due to his story, which I will go into a little bit.
Sure.
I think the way he explained it, he thought he noticed someone looking at him in the mid-40s. I want to say somewhere between 44 and 45, and wasn't real happy about the fact that he was getting attention, so just kind of,
Well, okay, so, I mean, humans have been in the Missouri Valley for ever, well, not ever, but a very long time. So even if you're talking pre-colonialization, you've got Native Americans. So why all of a sudden is he upset about people looking at him?
Well, I mean, he may have been upset about it earlier, but something about it made him a little bit uneasy. But that's not the main part of his story.
Oh, okay. I figured it was just there was just more people or something and he was getting irritated.
Well, I mean, possibly. He did tell me that it was July of 1971, the next time that he had an encounter, and the people that found him were Joan Mills and Mary Ryan. And they said that he made a gurgling noise like he had a cold or something like that. Now, he must have gotten over that because I didn't hear any sign of that.
Well, I would certainly hope that between now and 1971, he was able to get over a cold.
Oh, well, I've known sicknesses to last longer.
For decades?
Oh, absolutely.
That's unfortunate.
It really is. And fortunately, I've been able to avoid any decades-long, what would you call that, infections?
Chronic illnesses?
Whatever. Yeah, one of those. But what really kind of drove him into his reclusive lifestyle happened in 1972. Now, in July, what did he say? July 11th, I think?
Okay.
Doris Harrison was doing house things inside the house, like baking, stuff like that. I'm not sure. But anyway, her younger siblings, Terry and Wally, were outside and she heard them screaming. And she came to the window and looked and saw Momo just kind of standing there. Both of the kids were frozen, just kind of looking at him.
I would say that'd be quite the sight if you weren't expecting something.
Yes,
like Momo.
Especially if you consider the fact that he actually had a dead dog in his hands.
Oops.
Yeah, and he swears up and down he did not kill this dog. He found it and felt bad and wanted to bury it and just happened to wander on their lawn at that point.
Yikes.
And it really kind of affected him that they saw him like that in that light. Then 3 days later, he was grousing about it, just feeling bad, and he had wandered close to their house again. And the kid's father, Edgar, heard him growling around. And that is kind of what stirred up what happened over the next few weeks.
Oh, dear.
Yes, because I think it was then the 21st maybe, the fire department chief, Richard Allen Murray, caught him in his truck's headlights.
Oh.
And this is after they had talked about, rumors had started around Louisiana.
Oh.
And
okay.
on the 23rd, they actually sent out a posse after him, about 25 people.
Oh, no.
And not all of them were carrying guns.
Yeah.
But some of them were.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, now some of them also were just carrying notebooks because they just wanted to document this, and that if everybody had been like that, maybe it would have been different. But
well, get 20 people coming after you, whether it's with a gun or a pen, it still seems a lot.
Yeah. It was all a little bit excessive, and since then, he's just kind of kept to himself.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, it does make sense. But there have been other little things here and there. There was they found some footprints of his, and Lawrence Curtis from the Oklahoma City Zoo. Now, I want to focus on the fact that Oklahoma City is nowhere near Louisiana.
Missouri,
right.
That's accurate.
Yes.
Though Oklahoma does border Missouri, that is quite the trek.
But Louisiana is near the Mississippi River on the east side.
Indeed.
Yeah, so that's a long ways off. So apparently he's just declared his footprints a hoax.
Oh. As you do.
Yeah, and just like,
Okay.
You don't know me, how would you be able to, I don't understand why he feels like he could have just done that like that, but...
Well, it's fine. That probably helped Momo, if nothing else, really.
Well, yeah, but still, it's hurtful.
Well, if he's trying to stay reclusive, then the best thing that can happen is somebody to just say, you know what, this guy doesn't even exist. You could stop looking for him.
Yeah, that's true. Well, then he was telling me also there was a reporter there, Hayden Hughes was his name, that actually kind of backed him a little bit, if you know what I mean. Said that he went and interviewed some people and they seemed really sincere and basically endorsed the fact that he thought Momo was actually there and nothing to be worried about.
Okay, so a reporter said that Momo existed, but it's not really that big of a deal. Don't worry about it. Whereas a zoologist said, yeah, I looked at this footprint and I don't think that he exists at all.
Right. Which,
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I would rather people say, hey, this guy's harmless, don't worry about him, than, hey, this guy's not real.
And again, it just depends on how much you want people to leave you alone.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I do think that Momo does like some indirect attention every once in a while, though.
Sure.
Have you ever heard of Six Flags in St. Louis?
Sure.
Yeah, it's not
amusement
that far.
park.
Yeah, it's not that far from Louisiana. And Momo actually in 1973, a year after this happened, had a ride
Yeah.
at Six Flags.
I remember that.
And Momo was kind of sad when they took it down in 1994.
Well, Six Flags, as do all amusement parks, run through rides. I think, if I recall correctly, the Momo's still there. They just called it something else.
Oh, so they didn't just take it down.
Yeah. I think it was like if you go to a local carnival and you see those ones that are usually like a spider, and it's got like all the different little cars and it spins all over. I think.
Oh, is that the one that they say flings
Momo.
people across the sky and they're like...
Yeah, but that doesn't really... No, you're thinking of like bungee jumping or whatever. Those bungee flying things.
Wasn't there a story about like a bolt or something snapping on one of those and throwing people?
Oh my, I hope not. I have not
Well,
heard
I hope
that.
not too, but
No, but yeah, the Momo ride, I believe, it has been outshone by other rides. Those kind of rides are in traveling carnivals, but if you're going to go to a place like Six Flags, you want more intense
you want
things.
something sturdier that's not going to kill your patrons.
Well, and again, I don't know if that actually happened or if it was just they said, hi, we could keep this Momo ride or we could come up with the Batman. They're going to go with the Batman.
Oh, yeah. Go with the big picture movie guys that aren't real, yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, the Batman ride's pretty cool.
Well, I'm not really an amusement park guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
I mean, because if you sit on like the outside seat and you don't really see anything and you're being hung from a chair, it kind of does feel like you're flying. It's pretty neat.
Huh.
Anyway, but
maybe I should give amusement parks a chance sometime.
Every park has a ride of that variety. The other side of Missouri, they have another amusement park called Worlds of Fun, which has a Batman type ride, but I don't remember what it's called. It's just not called the Batman, but it's the same ride.
Oh, is there like an amusement park in every major city?
No, I don't think so. There just happens to be two in Missouri.
Well, Momo did also, he told me he saw the 2019 movie about himself.
Oh, I have to apologize. There's 3 in Missouri because there's also Silver Dollar City down in the south. Apologies. There was a movie?
You don't have to apologize for there being...
No, I'm sorry. I was apologizing to people who might be listening from southern Missouri going, hey.
Oh, what are the odds that we have listeners in southern Missouri?
Or anywhere, actually. But I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Oh, yeah. There was a movie in 2019 that basically dramatized the 1972 event.
There is? What is this movie called?
I think Momo.
Oh, I got to go look that up.
Yeah.
That sounds insane.
Anyway. Yeah, so anyway, Momo seems cool.
He's not a water creature.
Not a water creature, and I thought you would want to know about that.
That is eye-opening. I honestly thought Momo was like lived in either, because there's a lot of lakes in Missouri. Missouri's an extremely wet state. And there's Mark Twain National Forest up north that has a huge lake, and then there's Lake of the Ozarks, and then if you keep going south, there's just more lakes. It's just lakes everywhere. It's insane. If you dig a hole in Missouri, eventually it will fill with water. Okay.
Well, isn't that true of any place, though? Or?
Not really. I mean, if you live in above sea level, arid places, if you dig a hole in Idaho, you're not going to get it filled with water.
No. I guess I just like wetter climates anyway. I'd rather be in a forest than a mountain any day.
Yeah, well, ditto. I'm kind of from
forested mountains. That's different. Those are nice.
Indeed, because then you're dealing with snowfall melting, and that keeps it wet.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So
anyway, yeah. Another thing I wanted to talk about while we're together is that I found another Post-it note. I assume it's from Lonely Traveler 420 or whatever.
Fellow Traveler 42.
Right.
One, yes.
Guy. Yeah.
Okay.
So here, I'll just hand this to you.
Cool. So yeah, Post-it notes on my door. I'm still floored. Okay. So this Post-it note is, it just says, talk about Nessie. A helpful suggestion from a curious nephew. He, him.
A what?
Whose nephew is this? Yours, mine, just a nephew in general?
Isn't everybody somebody's nephew?
No, I'm not anybody's nephew, but that's because I don't identify as a male.
Okay, everyone that identifies as male is a you know
No,
what? Never
because
mind.
maybe they don't have aunts and uncles. So I'm just saying. It's fine.
Okay.
Don't worry about it. So Nessie.
Right. Okay. So Nessie. Yeah. Now we've talked about Nessie a couple of times. We haven't really talked that much about the incidences that have made her famous, though.
Oh.
So I guess I could talk about that a little bit. So Nessie did get her nickname, Nessie, in the 1930s. There were other things that Nessie was called before that, though. In August 4th of 1933, the Courier posted a sighting of Nessie by George Spicer that basically brought her into the public eye more and made her more popular. And they called her things like a monster fish or a sea serpent or a dragon or something like that. But the first recorded sighting of Nessie was back in 565 by St. Columba.
St. Columba.
Right. And
565.
Yes, 565 AD.
Interesting.
Or CE, or however you
It's
identify that. What happened was Nessie was approached by a gentleman by the name of Lugin Mokomin, if I'm remembering how to pronounce that right. And that was a friend of Columbia's, I believe. And so Columbia gets up there acting all, like a saint, and makes the sign of the cross and tells her that she is banished from the area.
Okay, so backing up. Columbia makes a sign of a cross and tells the sea creature that they're banished.
Yes.
Okay.
And her reaction was very similar to yours, only she just busted out laughing.
As you do.
Which got misinterpreted as a growl.
Well, I was going to say, does Nessie talk?
Well, she does, but not to everybody.
Well, I just meant, is she understandably speaking a language that people can understand?
Oh, yeah.
That was worded horribly. Anyway, but no, that's what I was wondering.
You got your idea across. That's fine. Don't worry about it. So, yeah, she just left. And then, of course, Columbia, not wanting to look foolish, said that she was dragged into the river by holy forces, and then it was a long time before anyone saw her again. But if you remember right, I told you Nessie likes to do that to people. She'll be like, ha ha, and then be gone.
Okay, let me again back up. So Columbia claimed that Nessie dragged her into the water?
No, Columbia claimed that his curse of Nessie dragged Nessie back into the water.
Okay.
And then banished her from the realm or whatever it is.
But instead, Nessie just made a big deal about splashing off into the distance.
Right.
Okay.
Because she's funny like that.
Apparently.
Yeah. And then later, going back to 1933, because that's what I said I was going to talk about.
Go ahead.
I got distracted by a thing.
Yeah.
Aldie McKay, May the 2nd, and George Spicer on July the 22nd, and Hugh Gray in November all spotted Nessie.
In the same year.
In 1933. It was a big year for her.
I guess.
And then there was someone at Columbia University, Daniel Loxton, in 2013 that was looking back at all of this.
Okay, wait. Columbia University here in America.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Was looking back at all of this and seeing the fact that King Kong came out a little bit before all of these sightings. And I don't know if you've seen the early King Kong, but there is this plesiosaur looking dinosaur in the movie.
Yeah, on the island that Kong was at.
Right.
Yes.
And so Daniel came to the conclusion that this basically spurred a bunch of people to see plesiosaur-like creatures wherever they aren't there.
Okay, well, if that were accurate, then why would there not be a plethora of plesiosaurus creatures being spotted all over the place where this movie was at?
See, and that's just the thing. I did a little digging myself, and Edgar Wallace, who was a writer and producer of King Kong, was near Loch Ness in 1931.
Okay, so
before the movie was produced.
Okay, but you know, if you're talking about a movie, even the ones that were cranked out in the early 1900s, there's still a production time frame and stuff. So it's not like he went, "Oh, I saw Nessie," and then went and made a giant movie about King Kong.
Well, now see, that's the thing though. If he had seen that earlier, maybe Nessie would have prominently been in the film more. But it just seems like, from what I know anyway, that Nessie she wasn't a major player in this movie.
No, but neither was any other creature on the island that King Kong was on, other than King Kong.
Yeah, so I'm thinking that either she was added near the end of production or possibly even post-production. They did editing and stuff like that back in the 1930s, didn't they?
Well, I'm sure they did, but stop motion animation like that is a tedious and time-consuming process. So I can't see them going back to add something because it kind of reminded him of something he saw in Loch Ness.
Oh, so you think that they just animated it and didn't actually use Nessie for the film?
Yeah, I don't. Why would they drag her out? And how would they incorporate her into the rest of the stop motion animation? So that doesn't, that doesn't track. But I can appreciate that Nessie may have inspired the idea of adding this thing to the movie, but Nessie herself being in the movie? No.
Well, probably not.
That would have been a production nightmare.
Yeah, good point. I mean, you're probably right. But I do like the thought that maybe Nessie inspired the movie instead of the other way around. Not inspired the movie, but inspired
her part in the movie.
Yeah, Plesiosaur being in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, that I could follow a bit. I mean, he's already in production, ideas rolling and everything else, and he's like going, "Hey, by the way, while we're on this island of gigantic creatures, why not add a Plesiosaurus?"
Yeah. Now, speaking of photographs and movies and stuff like that,
yes.
April 20th, 1934. Have you heard of the surgeon's photograph?
The surgeon's photograph?
Right.
Of what?
Of Nessie.
Okay, I know of a photograph of Nessie. Is this the one that we're talking about?
Well, this photograph was taken by Robert Kenneth Wilson, who was a London gynecologist.
Okay.
And got this picture of Nessie.
Okay.
Which, the way she tells it, was after an appointment that she had with him.
Why would she have an appointment with a human doctor?
Well, that's the part that I'm not 100% sure that I believe, because...
You think maybe Nessie's pulling your legs? So
Possibly. But the thing is, though, that photograph was stolen from the doctor and then ended up in the Daily Mail. Okay. Which, if you know anything about...
The Daily Mail is sort of a tabloid.
Right. That is prominent in England.
Right. So is this the famous Nessie photo?
Yes.
Okay. And that's from the 30s?
That's from 1934.
Wow. I didn't think it was that old. That's impressive.
I mean, I thought so too. And in 1999, the surgeon's photo basically went back and exposed the fact that the fact that the photo was actually a submarine.
A submarine?
Yes.
That photo doesn't look anything like a submarine. And isn't the loch a lake?
Yeah.
Why would there be a submarine in a lake?
They claimed that was built and photographed by Robert Wilson and then stolen to make the Daily Mail look bad. Because they had some kind of beef against them or something like that.
What do you have to do to make a tabloid magazine look bad?
Read it.
I'm just starting to like, okay, well, we've got what's here in America, like the Sun and the Inquirer or whatever. You're just like going, yeah, they just print. Oh, no. The Weekly World News. There we go. That's an amazing piece of journalism. I'm going to put something in there that makes them look bad. I'm like, I'm sorry. Have you read the Weekly World News? I don't think that there's anything that you could do to shame them.
Probably not. I think they run off of shame, actually.
That, they're just like, hey, you know what? I honestly believe that the Weekly World News is the precursor to the Onion. It's just like going, you know what? We're just going to put it out there because who cares?
Yeah, and that's not the only picture of her, though. I mean, there was actually a 3-minute film that in 1938.
I think I vaguely remember something about that.
And that may have spawned the hunting party that went after her in August. I think it was the 15th, 1938.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, William Fraser reported on this and said that there was a hunting party that went after her. And I remember when that happened, then they came nowhere near her.
Well, yeah, I would imagine that something that is clearly as old as Nessie is very adept at hiding.
Oh, yeah, especially since recently they've even done DNA tests in that lock and claimed that there's no way that lake could contain that large of a creature because there's no DNA to support it.
I don't know. At this point, I'm just like, don't we have like radiological imaging or whatever that somebody could just go over the lake and see where the bottom is kind of thing?
Yeah, and this is unsubstantiated, but I think they actually found her with one.
With radiological imaging?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
And speaking of submarines, don't we have a way of going down into the lake and just looking
around?
A
submersible? Yeah. But then again, that you can see coming.
Yeah, true.
And a submersible, the visibility in those isn't great.
No.
And when you live in the water and can see something coming from a long ways off, it's easy to hide.
Yeah, that's fair. But if you get like a combination of, say, like the equipment they use to track fish along with a submersible, they're just like, hi, there's a giant blobby thing. Let's go see what's over there.
Yeah, but all you can really prove with that is that you found a giant blobby thing. You can't really say, hey, that's Nessie right there.
No,
there's her signature right on the blobby thing picture.
There's got to be a way to triangulate that. I'm just saying.
Oh, probably.
Eventually, Nessie is going to run out of places to hide because technology is going to catch up with her.
Maybe. But I think her attitude on that would be more of a, okay, fine, you got me.
Yeah.
And then
it's like the greatest
in 3 days, she'll disappear again. And yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like going, so the reigning champion is still Bigfoot because eventually we'll find Nessie because she lives in a lock.
Yeah, that does limit your mobility. But then again, one could say being landlocked limits your mobility too. You're not going to find Bigfoot or any other Sasquatch in the ocean.
Well, we don't know that.
Well, yeah, that's true. There are.
I mean,
well, we can go into that sort of thing in another episode.
That's fair.
I know we brought him up one other time, but Nessie also met Art at one point.
Art.
Yeah. Before he wrote his book, The Lost World.
Oh, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle again.
Oh,
gotcha.
yeah. Sorry.
Art.
There is a story of him going to the Isle of Aegina, and he saw a plesiosaur there with his wife, and that was when...
Oh, and that inspired The Lost World, do you think?
Yes, but also, before he wrote it, he did visit Loch Ness and actually had a bit of a chat with Nessie.
He spoke with Nessie.
Well, yeah.
Interesting.
Like I told you, once he realized that fairies were real and that there were a lot of creatures out there that most people don't believe in, let alone know about, he really went full into that and tried to learn as much as he could.
Wow, certainly spurred his imagination. Somebody who can write books of that quality anyway. So
I mean, yeah, and when you have a basis of fact to make up stories on, it really is a lot easier to do that because you can make it a lot more believable if you throw some fact in there with your fictional nonsense.
It's hard to separate the two at that point, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So, is there anything else you wanted to talk about today?
Well, do you have any other questions for...
Not yet. We're still taking any questions anybody might have.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have questions, you can go to cryptidremarks@gmail.com and send them in. We can be found on Discord if you link through our website at cryptidremarks.com. We have a Blue Sky account at profedjeffers.bsky.social.
We're on Facebook.
We are on Facebook and YouTube now.
And now we're on YouTube.
Like and subscribe if you're hearing this on YouTube.
And if you put it in the question in the comments on YouTube, we'll find it.
That too. You can leave a question there if you like.
Apparently, you can also leave Post-it notes on my door.
Yeah. Just for the record, that's kind of creepy. Stop
creepy.
doing that.
I'm just saying.
That's not good.
I appreciate the interest, but maybe just contact us through the socials. Thank you.
Yeah. Did I leave any of them out?
No, I think we got them all. Thanks for fixing the window, by the way.
Oh, hey, yeah, no problem. My feet are still healing from that. By the way.
You should probably wear shoes occasionally. I'm just saying.
Why would I do that?
I mean, I've got pictures of you with shoes on. I'm just saying you do wear them occasionally.
Well, yeah, but it was a costume.
Okay. Sure. Why not?
Okay. Yeah. So.
Yes.
I guess that's it for today then.
Still working on our outro.
Yeah. Do you have anything yet?
Nope. I'm a dry well.
That's a terrible tagline.
That is a terrible tagline. We're still workshopping that. Is that what they say? Is that what they say? Workshopping it?
Some people probably say that.
You
sure.
have no idea. I know. It's fine.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, you all have a awesome spring. It's still spring. It just started spring. It's fine.
Yeah. And thanks for listening. You've been listening to Cryptid Remarks. The part of Professor Edward Jeffers was played by Jeffrey Morton. The part of Wilma Chronicle was played by Kimberly Morton. All music was written by Ruben Fansler. Sound editing by Jeffrey Morton and Ruben Fansler. Our web guru is Aaron Milosic. If you have any questions you would like us to cover, contact us at cryptidremarks@gmail.com or link to our Discord through cryptidremarks.com. Thank you for listening. And don't worry, I probably don't exist either.